All right, so remember our mixture was metal BBs, styrofoam, rocks, sand, and then just regular table salt. And we've got these all right here. You guys did an excellent job of trying to come up with ways to separate these back out using the properties of the different kinds of matter. So let's do that today. Many of you guys said to use a magnet, and that was absolutely right. That's the first thing I'm going to do to get all of these BBs out. See how the BBs are sticking to the magnet? I can just run my magnet through there. All right, now I've got all of the metal balls out, and I'm going to fill it with water. Many of you guys noticed that styrofoam floats. So when I fill it with water, all the styrofoam should float up to the surface. And that's exactly right. And now I can take a spoon and just scoop all this off the top. All right, now we've got just sand, salt, water, and rocks in here. So now I'm going to use a strainer, and several of you guys mentioned using a strainer or a sieve, and I'm going to pour this through the strainer, and we should be able to get catch all of the rocks. All right, and now you can see we've caught all of the rocks. So now we've separated the rocks from our mixture. And now what we've got left, a lot of you guys mentioned that we can just pour the water back off of the sand. The sand should sink, which that's what it's doing. And now we can separate the sand out of the mixture as well. So we can let that sand dry and it'll go right back to the normal sand. Now, I didn't have anybody mention how in the world we get the salt out of the water, because we have salt. It's separated, but it's actually soluble, and that's how we could separate it from the sand, because the salt dissolved in the water. But how do we get the water and the salt separated? Well, evaporation is what we're going to do. Normally we could let this sit out for days and days and the water would evaporate into the air, but we can also use the stove to help us out with that. All right, now we're just going to turn up the heat and accelerate the evaporation process by boiling the water away. When the water boils away or evaporates up into the sky, what it will leave behind is salt. All right, so here's our pan after we have evaporated out all the water. And you can see the water is gone, and what is left behind is the salt. All that white stuff in the pan is salt. So when evaporation occurs, just the water gets taken back up into the air, gets formed into a gas, and anything that was dissolved in the water is left behind. So now we have separated our final item out of the mixture, which is the salt.